we know he is very much on the radar of both Real Madrid and Barcelona at the moment. And today we've reported that Manchester City have rejected an offer from Barcelona, which we understand to be worth around £40 million. Manchester City, although they won't say publicly, would be hoping to get around £60 million. So there's a fair gap in valuation of the player. So at this stage, the talks between the two sides have been halted. However, that doesn't mean it's the end game for Barcelona. They are very much interested in trying to strike a deal for the 30-year-old. And we do anticipate they'll be back at the negotiations table soon with a second offer. Can they get closer to what Manchester City are looking for? Now, our sources are telling us that Rodri would potentially prefer a deal to go to Barcelona than Real Madrid. However, never say never in these situations. And of course, with regards to Manchester City and Rodri, he has just 1 year left on his current contract. So they'd rather get some money for him now than let him leave on a free this time next year. And of course, when you go into your 30s as well, when you start to get big money for a player, it's always hard to turn down. Fascinating to see how this one plays out. But it feels like Rodri's days at Manchester City are coming to an end.
Return to one of our top stories, and could we see a battle between Real Madrid and Barcelona for the services of the World Cup winner Rodri? Well, Manchester City have knocked back an initial offer from Barcelona for Rodri because it was considered far too low. Talks have therefore halted for now, and it remains to be seen whether Barcelona return with a higher offer. Their interest in signing him remains, though, and our sources in Spain believe Rodri prefers a move to Barcelona over Real Madrid. And for more on this, delighted to say we can speak to Roger Torrejo from Mundo Deportivo. Very good afternoon to you. What are you hearing about where Rodri might end up at the end of the summer?
Hello, good evening. Now the situation is that Barca started to negotiate with Manchester City about Rodri. Rodri has had a deal with Real Madrid, but he decided to decline this option and to say yes to Barcelona because he feels that Barcelona trusts more in him than Real Madrid. He has a very good relationship with a lot of players from Barcelona because 8 of the players of Barcelona were in the World Cup with Rodri, and he has a very good relationship with them, and he trusts more in the project of Barcelona. And when Barca say, "Okay, we go with you, we go with about to try to sign you," he say, "Okay, I want to go to Barcelona."
I guess the big question, Roger, is can Barcelona afford him?
Yeah, that's the big question because Barca, his priority is number 9, but the option of the market was appears suddenly, and Barca say, "Oh, we have to make an effort to get Rodri," and we have to take a question very important because Barcelona in this summer is in the regal 1-1 in the fair play in the financial fair play. Probably next summer he doesn't want to be in the same option, and then needs to reinforce the team this summer, and the Rodri option appears, and Barca go there.
We spoke to Terry Gibson in the last hour, and he talked about the fact that Barcelona had made Rodri feel a bit more special, whereas Real Madrid had maybe concentrated too much on Vinicius Jr. and didn't put him at the top of their priority list. Tell us, though, when Real and Barcelona usually go for the same player, who tends to win?
I remember the case of Neymar, because Neymar, before arrived to Barcelona, he made the medical test with Real Madrid, and finally signed from Barcelona. In this case was a like a title for Barca to sign Neymar, not only for a good player as well, because to keep up the player to your big rival in Spain. And this situation is like the same, because the player that Real Madrid needs urgently is Rodri, and they put the focus in Diomande and renewal and with Vinicius, and finally not the deal is not done with the City. It's just a start, but the player wants to go to Barcelona, and for the at the moment it's a big start to Barca win again Real Madrid with a big player.
We understand Man City rejected that initial offer from Barcelona for Rodri. How does this all pan out then? Where's Rodri playing come first week in September?
He arrived a team perfect for him, because Barca play as he was available in Manchester City with Pep Guardiola. Barca plays obviously like the same, because the philosophy of Barca, La Masia, is to take the ball, pass the ball, to be patient to arrive to another goal, and then Rodri is arrived in the perfect team to play as Manchester City was, and then. For me, I think he's going to be a very good player for Barca, and his adaptation will be very fast, because a lot of the players in Barcelona are his college in national team.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. It's going to be fascinating, isn't it, over the next few weeks to see where the World Cup winner ends up.
And this is where the story becomes much more interesting, because Manchester City's decision to reject Barcelona's £40 million offer for Rodri was not just a routine response. The message from City was clear. At that figure, there was simply no deal to discuss. Rodri is not viewed at the Etihad as an ordinary midfielder who can be replaced with one signing. He is central to the way City control matches. He dictates the tempo, gives the defence protection, helps the team play through pressure, and allows the players around him to take up more attacking positions. Take that influence out of the side, and City are not just losing a player, they are losing a major part of their structure. That is why the £40 million figure was always going to be difficult for Barcelona. From City's point of view, accepting that kind of money would create a second problem immediately. How do you replace Rodri without weakening the team? Any midfielder capable of offering the same level of control, physical presence, tactical intelligence, and experience would cost a huge amount in the current market, and even then there would be no guarantee that a replacement could settle straight away. That is especially important because Rodri's role affects almost every phase of City's game. When City have the ball, he helps set the rhythm. When possession is lost, he is often the player protecting the space in front of the defence. That combination makes his position one of the hardest in the squad to fill. So this was not simply City saying, "We want more money." It was City looking at the sporting cost of the transfer as well as the fee. If Rodri leaves, they would have to rebuild one of the most important areas of the side. For a club still trying to compete for the biggest trophies, that is a risk they have no reason to take for £40 million. Barcelona's interest is easy to understand. Rodri is Spanish, technically elite and comfortable controlling possession from deep. He fits the profile of midfielder Barcelona have traditionally valued. But identifying the right player is one thing. Convincing Manchester City to part with him is another. And the speed of City's rejection tells you plenty. Rather than allowing the £40 million proposal to become the starting point of a long negotiation, they effectively shut the door at that level. If Barcelona want City to even consider changing their position, the financial package would have to look very different. That is the key point. Manchester City hold the stronger hand because they do not need to sell Rodri simply because another major European club wants him. Unless an offer arrives that reflects both his quality and his importance to the team, City have little incentive to enter serious talks. There is also the wider footballing question. Rodri's value cannot be measured only by goals, assists, or a transfer market number. His importance is in the way he connects City's defence and attack, controls dangerous moments, and gives the team stability when matches become difficult. Those qualities are extremely hard to replace, and City know it. For Barcelona, then, the problem is not just finding extra money. They would have to make Manchester City believe that selling Rodri is worth the disruption it could cause. At £40 million, City clearly did not believe that was even close to being the case. So the rejection makes sense from every angle. City would be giving up one of the most influential players in their midfield, taking on the difficult job of replacing him and potentially changing the balance of the side, all for a fee they considered too low. Barcelona may still admire the player, and their interest may not disappear. But the first message from Manchester City could hardly have been stronger. £40 million is not the price that gets Rodri out of the Etihad. If Barcelona are serious, they would have to come back with something far more convincing. Until then, City have no reason to move.